rotting driftwood on the foreign shores, spilling out into the ocean floor, and the memories all you've left without a trace. Paralyzed with the thoughts receding, current sweeps you with the silent bleeding through the heart into the darkest place. Well, turn around, there's nothing to see here. Run away, no reason to be here. It's the ghost who never goes away. Turn around and leave this behind now. You see the ground as it bleeds in the sky now. You fight the sea, you're always gonna drown. All the secrets that you're holding, all the memories you hide, all the frail thoughts that echo in the corners of your mind, they won't even last a moment, they will soon be swept away when the ocean takes you in its arms and carries you away. You carry all your burdens on the cross around your neck. You take whatever's left that you could salvage from the wreck, and the hard past will follow you like a lost dog on the beach, nipping at your trail till you've drifted out of reach. Yeah, turn around, there's nothing to see here. Run away, no reason to be here. It's the ghost who never goes away. Turn around and leave this behind now. See the ground as it leads to the sky now. You fight the sea, you're always gonna drown. In the broken line horizon, in the castles made of sand, you tried to hold it in your hands, you tried to understand it. The ocean asks the questions, and it holds the answers too. It dissolves away the lies about the things you thought you knew.
Hey Internet! Welcome back to another DM Chats here on Roll for Trouble. I'm your host this evening. And today you might notice I am wearing a jaunty hat with a feather. The feather is important. Vital.
Super vital.
Today we're doing a deep dive into the Bard class. So I'm going to go over some high points of the class, that kind of stuff. And I don't know, when I think Bards, I think of nice hats and jaunty feathers, ergo the hat and the feather. Don't judge me, Internet. So, Bards are basically one of your best support classes. A lot of the Bard ability come from their spells. They are a spell slinging class. They are, as far as your math is concerned, you want to focus mainly on charisma and dexterity. Charisma is your main spell casting ability, so you will want to focus on having that as one of your higher stats, and then dexterity. You can use non-finesse weapons and things like that for a bard, but I would suggest finesse weapons simply because they can use your dex, which is going to be one of your next higher modifiers. Because not only does dex improve for you as a bard, obviously your ability to use finesse weapons and actually hit something in case you get in melee combat with something. It also, if depending on what kind of armor you're wearing, it can also help make sure that you're well armored and well protected. Not only do you have tough hide, you're a slithery little bastard. So those are the two things you kind of want to focus on. Math wise, if you just want to play a character for the hex of it, go for it. So the races that I found that would best suit mathematically for the that get bonuses from the race that helps benefit the two main abilities that the class suggests is probably going to be, surprising me, is a dark elf or a drow. Elves naturally get a dex bonus of +2. Drow have also a charisma of +1. So they are literally one of the things that you can get that has both of those being buffed. The next one is a lightfoot halfling. Again, +2 to dex, +1 to charisma. A high elf in particular, again, you have that +2 to dex, but what? Oh, no. Half elf. I misread my own writing. It's a half elf. Half elves have a +2 to charisma, but they get a +1 to all, I think, +1 to 2 other abilities. So you can put 1 in dex, and you can put 1 in something else, whatever you choose. Others that are okay for it, that just have one of the two things that you're looking for, you can do humans. They get a +1 to everything off the bat. So pretty much humans are good for any class. Other one would be your forest gnome. They have an intelligence bonus coming up with a +2 to int. You could also get a +1 dex to being a forest gnome. And then tieflings, they have a natural +2 to charisma and then also a +1 to intelligence. So those are some good classes or good races you can think about being to pair with your bard. But of course, with D&D 5e, you can make anything work. Half work. Bard's totally doable. I mean, honestly, that would probably be some, I imagine very powerful drums going on, which hell yeah. But yeah. So like I said, bards are your spell slingers. They are also they're also a very, very support class. Very big support class. A lot of their spells don't do damage. They are, somehow they induce status effects on enemies and also provide bonuses like healing to allies. So that's where one of the big things that they have is obviously their spells. Another thing that is very big for all bards is what's called bardic inspiration. So bards are able to inspire people through their words, their music, their interpretive dance, whatever it is that they use to convey stories or ideas to others. The ability for bards to weave that magic comes from those. So the idea is that bards can inspire people with stories, songs. I throw interpretive dance in there because I think it's funny. And what that does, I'm going to say mathematically, but within the game, mechanically of the game, that was the word I was looking for, is that the ally who the bard inspires gets an additional die to roll on a saving throw, an ability check, or a damage roll. And it starts as low as a D6, I think, at level 1 and goes all the way up to a D12 at level 15. So when you hit that 15 tier, I mean, you have a chance of literally changing a die roll, depending on what it is. So, yeah, Bardic Inspiration is very powerful. And then Bardic Inspiration, how many you can do between, I think, long rests, I think is traditionally what they're done for. I think depending on the school that you choose as a bard, depends whether or not it's long rest or short rest. Maybe. I don't truly remember. Let's see here.
Always have a player's handbook ready.
Yes.
Kids.
Whenever you have questions, always consult your handy dandy PHB. And now you can buy digital copies on shameless plug for D&D Beyond. D Beyond. Or you could probably find it at any, normal retail seller.
They even have
Or
it
your
at Target.
friendly local game
Yeah,
shop.
you can now go to Target also to get your geek needs satisfied. Let's see. Yes. So the traditional Bardic Inspiration is you have so many uses of your Bardic Inspiration per long rest. So yes, I think it might change depending, like I said, on some sort of subclass, but we'll get there. So, subclasses. There are 2 in the PHB and 3 within Zendikars. Whatever it's called. Zendikars. No.
Xanthar?
Sorry. I was like, that's not right. Zendikar is magic. I'm just coming off of that our off-camera game last weekend, so I still have that kind of stuck in my head. Xanthar's Guide to Everything. They both begin with Z. So the first one that you have is your College of Lore. To me, College of Lore is actually very boring. Having read over it, I'm like, eh? Basically, with College of Lore, you gain more proficiency skills, up to 3 additional skills. You can choose other spells from any other spell list, wizard, cleric, sorcerer, druid, whatever you want to pick. I think it also, because they realize that the bardic spell list is so restrictive when it comes to bards not being able to actually do damage, it does give you the chance to choose other spells that if you want to actually deal damage in combat, maybe picking from the wizard spell list or the sorcerer spell list isn't necessarily a bad thing. And the other thing you get for that one is for your bardic inspiration, the bard can actually choose to spend one of their uses of bardic inspiration to, I think, you can basically use it on yourself, instead of, where did it go? Really? You get cutting words on level? Okay. Where did it fucking go?
It left. It just went away.
Yeah. So so you can choose to use your bardic inspiration for yourself on an ability check that you make. You can choose to add the die after you see your roll, but before the DM says it succeeds or fails. So it gives you a chance to kind of...
Oh, shit!
if you're like, that's a 5! Let me see if I can help that a little bit. So yeah, and then you also get cutting words in College of Lore, which basically is you really know how to throw some shade at folk, and it burns so bad. I think what it does is creature you can see within. You basically say, "How dare you, sir, attack someone or me?" And you say something witty, cutting, whatever, and then you use your bardic inspiration to subtract from their attack roll. Basically, you can say "butts" really loud, and they go "what?" and fail to attack you because you startled them so much. or you say something witty. Your call. If you've ever watched Critical Role, I think Scanlan's character is probably College of Lore, since I know he has cutting words. So he's probably a good version of the College of Lore Bard that you may want to, if you're kind of looking for a good version of that, because I know he has cutting words. So the next one in the PHB is the College of Valor, which allows you to be a little bit more melee-y. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, you're better at surviving in battle and hitting shit. So you get the ability to you gain the proficiency for medium armor, and I think melee weapons, or all melee weapons. Martial weapons, excuse me. You can now use your Bardic Inspiration die to add to the damage, or as a what did I write? Jesus. You can attack more at 6th level. You can use it to the damage roll if you know you've hit, or if you're unsure of whether or not your attack will hit, you can use, basically like in College of Lore, in College of Lore, where you can say you startle someone into not hitting you because you've reduced their attack, you can actually use your Bardic Inspiration to buff your AC, to make it so their attacks just don't hit you or glance off your armor, whatever it may be. So you have 2 choices of your Bardic Inspiration that you can use for that. The last one that you get, you become proficient with being able to sling spells and do martial attacks. So if you use an action to cast a spell, you can actually use your bonus action to then do a martial melee attack with a weapon. So it allows you to be more of a force of reckon in a battle, as opposed to just being on the sidelines going, heal, laugh, fall on the ground, no, get away from me, with Thunderwave, that kind of stuff.
Butts.
Basically just screaming butts everywhere, and people are like, why did you bring him here? He's distracting.
I know, that's his point.
That's the point. So in Xanthar's Guide, we have 3 others, like I said. The first one from the Xanthar's Guide is College of Glamour, which I believe is actually Jeff's college from Cyril. So with this college, basically College of Glamour allows you to make yourself really pretty, and people are like, oh my god, I want to be where he is and do what he says. Like, they're totally infatuated with you, and you just are like, yes, I'm beautiful. And people are like, oh, okay, yeah. It's based on the Fey magic, so that's, yeah. So basically you get really, really pretty, and you can then be like, I'm so pretty, you're all amazing, and buff your allies and give them temporary HP in battle. And when you do that, you can actually allow your allies to move upon receiving that temporary HP without provoking an opportunity attack. So very handy to kind of, especially at the beginning of a battle, kind of get your allies, allow them to situate themselves in a position where it may be advantageous, especially if you go at the beginning, if you roll really well on initiative. You can, which you have seen Jeff, I think, use this ability where you can perform, and anyone who hears it has to make a wisdom saving throw or be charmed by you. Basically, they become your groupie for like an hour. So there's that one. They have the ability to use the command spell without using a spell slot. And let's see. The highest ability you get is that the bard becomes so damn pretty. Let's see. I wrote, highest ability is that you get so damn pretty, people just can't attack you. you got to make a save to do it. You're just like, look at me, I'm beautiful. And they're like, you're right. Why would I hurt that? It's all wisdom based. So yeah. Those are the saves that the people have to make. So College of Swords. Again, it's another one of the more martial colleges of bards. Kind of a little bit swashbucklery. A little bit. Again, you get more proficiencies. You get more ability with armors. You get to choose a fighting style, whether I think it's dual armor, dual wielding, or choosing to do one-handed and basically only using one arm. And it's almost like using old-time rapiers, if you will. I say old-time rapiers, but it's
that's you, sir.
yeah, it's like, yeah, sir, on guard, sir. You have only one weapon and you use that weapon only, and you get a +2, I think, to attack if you choose that sort of weapon style fighting. You can get fancy with your sword, and you can actually choose to do flourishes by using your bardic inspiration, which can, I think, either help you attack or impose penalties on the person you are fighting. I don't remember them specifically off the top of my head, but they do give you a little bit more kind of cool shit you can do in battle. So in the highest level that the College of Swords gets is that, so I think you can choose to add your bonus, your bardic inspiration die, I think, to your attack. I think when you get, where is the Xanthar's Guide? Can you hand me that? I just want to confirm what I'm reading.
No.
I'm sorry. I should have gotten
me work.
I'm sorry.
I don't wanna.
Let's see here. If I am not mistaken. So you get the extra attack. And let's see. Wait, what? I should have read over this a little bit more closely before getting on stream. Whenever you use the attack action on your turn.
So D&D Beyond.
Expend one of your bardic inspiration to deal extra damage. So basically the bardic, so with every blade flourish, you have 3 different blade flourishes you can do. Each blade flourish that you choose to do, basically you can roll your bardic inspiration die and it gets added to your attack roll. Damage. So basically, you, instead of expanding your bardic inspiration die, if you choose to do a flourish, when you get to, I think, level 15, you can just use a d6 regardless, and you don't actually have to use your bardic inspiration. So you can choose to use just a d6 to get a little bit extra more damage, depending on what you roll, or you can try for the bardic inspiration die, which is going to be more, obviously, because you're probably up in the d10s, d12s by then. So it's a trade-off in what you want to do, how you want to save it up. But the blade flourishes, like I said, do give you more benefits in combat. You have the defensive flourish. So you then get a bonus to your AC after you've completed that one, based on the roll from your bardic inspiration die. Slashing flourish. You can hit another creature that may be beside you and the target you choose, so you can do more damage overall. And I think the mobile flourish allows you to probably move, judging by the name, without reading it very deeply. So it allows you to kind of maneuver yourself and give yourself a little bit more bonuses in combat. The very last one that you can choose is the College of Shadows. College of Whispers. Might as well be called the College of Shadows because it's just as creepy. So the College of Whispers is when you hit someone with your weapon. I think, if you use your bardic inspiration die, You can roll 2d8, 2d6, and cause psychic damage. You fuck with their head. That's literally the whole thing about this particular one, is that you just do what you can to fuck with people. It's kind of creepy. If you spend 1 minute alone with a target, you can make them afraid of you or another creature of your choice. And the best part is with that is that if they succeed on their saving throw against that attempt, they don't know that you tried to do anything to them. But if they fail, they become eternally afraid of you or another target, which might be really great in interrogation situations. It gets creepier. If someone dies near you, you can capture their essence enough to pass as them and know general information. You can literally capture their shadow and keep it around in your back pocket, and you say, you know what, it would be really helpful for me to turn into another person and have other knowledge. Boop, I am this person. It's basically like casting the disguise self spell, but it comes with added bonuses of general information that the essence of that soul still remembers, like their name, or like, I live at 221B Southeast Street. Like, general information. You won't know their deep, dark secrets, but you know enough to pass as that person. Creepy. Even creepier. You gain the ability to basically whisper gibberish at someone. You choose a target and you go, "Hoo-da-woo-da-wah." And they go, "I make a save. I fail or I succeed." If they fail, they are convinced that you have whispered their deepest, darkest secret and have become absolutely terrified of you and are willing to do whatever they can to keep you happy so that you do not reveal their deepest, darkest secret. You don't know what that is and what they heard, but they are convinced that you know it. Let's see. But and then once it ends, they're like, what the fuck was I so scared for? It's kind of amusing. But yeah, this one in particular is just a little bit on the creepy, weird side to me. I'm sure it could be very helpful. But yeah, it's a little weird. I was reading it and I got to that last part and I was like, the fuck?
I'm sorry, what just happened here?
Basically. So, College of Whispers, I can imagine, for a bard, especially when you have charm person, friendship, that kind of stuff, your A+ infiltration situation going on there. So yeah, lots of different, variations of the bard class, but like I said, bards are very much your spell slingers. They have access to spells like charm person, friendship. Oh, those are just the ones that come off the top of my head because that's the one my bard uses all the time. Actually, he doesn't use charm person all that often, to be honest.
No, because they know.
Because then, yeah, that's the one downside about that particular spell, is that once you've charmed someone with that spell, they know that you did it, and they're like, wait a minute. And it could, depending on the character you use it on, the NPC, it could be in your detriment. But those are some of the spells that I know that you have. Thunderwave comes to mind. Tasha's Hideous Laughter comes to mind. Leoman's Tiny Hut.
Invisibility?
Yeah, invisibility. Probably gain access to fly at some point.
I'd be absolutely terrified to see Gene Simmons fucking flying across the TV.
Flying at you!
Nope! Excuse me while
Thanks
I leave
for my
now.
new nightmare.
You're welcome.
So yeah. But yeah, bards are an interesting class to have around. They're definitely an ace in the hole. I think at their most powerful, bards have access to a spell called Wish, which is a level 9 spell. Which is... Oh, you know what? That might have been something else that happened with that. Never mind, they don't actually have that. Not at level 9. But it's possible that he might have chose it and maybe redone it, because Wish is a spell. It's a sorcerer spell. Wow, okay. as it is for a wizard. But yeah, with the ability for not sorcerers, but for bards to choose other spells, it's possible that that's how they gain it. But yeah, bards can be very, very helpful in tight spots. They're very adaptable. One of their just abilities across the board for the bards is that any class that you're not proficient in, or not class, any skill you're not proficient in, you get half proficiency on that anyway. Jack of all trades, which actually used to be a feat, I think, in 4E and possibly 3E, 3.5. But now it is just for bards. It's not a feat anymore. It is an ability that bards get only. So it definitely can make them very helpful in tight spots because they do kind of know a lot of things, a little about a lot of things, and a lot about a few things as well. So, yeah. Bards can be a very interesting class. They can also be your diplomancers when you're in a tight spot, just because they do have the charisma to back it up with the words that they speak. So yeah, very versatile class. Highly recommend giving it a try. Maybe one day I'll be able to make my way around and play a bard one day. I think that's my goal one day as a player, to have played all the classes and see what they have to offer. I'm down bard or druid at this point.
I'm down bard. Fuck, no.
Down druid.
You play a warlock?
I mean, in 4. So it's a little different, but yeah, I have.
Artificer?
It's not an official 5e class.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. And I hate the new build.
Then you play a sorcerer.
That's fine. It's still going through playtesting.
True. I've
You've
one-shotted.
played more than one class.
Not in a long shot campaign where I get to truly like explore the abilities of the class.
Yeah.
So I have dabbled in sorcery. Sorcery. No.
Picky out.
And in our off-stream campaign, I play a artificer. From the original Unearthed Arcana thing that they published. The newest stuff that they put out and the revamp that they did on it, I absolutely detest. Because it's nothing like the original stuff. Yeah, I'm sticking with the original until this campaign ends, because the new shit does not jive with my character. So, but yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to post it in chat or hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, any of our social media sites, or even, hit me up privately on Twitter, even though I'm very rarely on Twitter, even though my handle is down there.
Yeah, it's most likely like they shouldn't hit you up on Twitter.
I check it every now and again, but don't expect a speedy response. I'm sorry. Twitter's just not one of those things I'm just like constantly on. Hit up Susie or Andy. They'll respond much faster than I will.
That's fine.
And they'll just like poke me and be like, Carolyn, you have a question. Read it. But yeah, feel free to message us. And then my next deep dive is going to be for the cleric class, which should be interesting. I'm excited to read about it and kind of get a more handle on my storm cleric in the group. We'll see how.
You didn't whip out banishment and surprise you.
I mean, to be honest, it's not like I have any of the spell lists memorized on the back of my head.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I will probably constantly be surprised by the spells that are pulled out. It's just, I think, part of the game because I'm not super familiar with all of the spells. But, and I'm not about to sit down and read the spells A through Z. That's not happening. I know me, that's not happening. So, but yeah, I'm guessing we don't have any questions.
No.
We have one.
Oh! We do?
How shocked are you that Andy made a creepy bard?
Andy made a bard before as her backup for Verity.
Of the Whisper College?
She did?
I did.
I don't remember that.
I know, I didn't tell you.
Oh. I'm very surprised because I literally just learned about it.
She has a mini and everything.
Oh, wow. But yeah. So, I think that does it for tonight's DM chats. I hope this helped you kind of get a feel for the subclasses of Bard and helps you kind of rein in the confusion. But yeah, feel free to hit us up if you have any questions, and I will definitely love to discuss it with you guys. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and we will see you. Let me back it up a little bit. Let's hit up the announcements first. We will see you, of course, this Saturday as we have Tales from Cyril with me at 12 p.m. We're back to our normal Attune schedule for at least 2, maybe 3 games until I have work again.
No.
Oh, that's right. No, we are. So, you know what? This upcoming week, we're fine. We'll let you know anyone else. And then, of course, the next week we have DM chats here, 7 p.m. I will be at work. 7 p.m. Wednesday with Susie. Alphabets are hard. I was going backwards.
That's how they work. Those alphabets.
You can go backwards and forwards.
Sure can.
With Susie next week, topic to be determined. And then, of course, the following Sunday, we have River of Teresa. I hope you enjoyed tonight's chat, and we will see you later, folks. Toodaloo.